Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be looking at one of TOPDON's latest offerings in their diagnostic range. It's the ArtiDiag 600S. Some of you may have seen my previous video on the ArtiDiag 800 BT. We won't compare them because they're different levels of diagnostic machine. They do different amounts of systems. They aren't really comparable. The 600S is a more basic machine, will cover 99% of things that you would need, whereas the 800 covers more in-depth things. So start off, the 600S is has a wired connection, so your OBD2 connector is on a cable that simply plugs into your OBD port. It's plenty long enough. The 800 BT, however, has the Bluetooth dongle, which means that it's wireless. You don't have to be tethered to the vehicle while you're doing diagnostics on it. But that's about as much as I'm going to really compare that side of things. So the 600S, it's got function buttons on it, which is good, I suppose, because the touch screen, if you've got oily or dirty hands, which obviously if you're working on a vehicle you probably will have, makes it slightly easier. These big chunky rubber buttons, you can use them to navigate around all the different screens, all the different diagnostic functions. However, you can still, use the touch screen if that's easier. So for example, if we want to go into maintenance, that's something I will show you, the things that the 600S can do compared to the 800 BT. The 600S is more basic, but as I say, it will cover 99% of the things that most people, most semi-pro or home mechanics would want to look at. So for example, we've got bleeding the ABS. If you're changing the brake fluid, or if you have to change a caliper or brake line, you want to bleed the whole system, you can do that with this by bleeding the ABS. Yeah, most modern vehicles, especially the start-stop, will have battery management systems, so you can we'll go through some of this in more detail, but you can recalibrate it, which you're supposed to do on most vehicles when you change the battery. For a new one, you should recalibrate it to tell the battery management system. Brakes, so for example on this 2016 Ford Galaxy, has the electronic rear handbrake. So with that, again, you can, for service reasons, wind them off, wind them back on, recalibrate them. Common one on diesel vehicles is DPF. So you can do DPF regenerations. Obviously, I haven't tried this particular one, the 600S, on lots of vehicles yet, because it's relatively new. But so far it's worked on a Mercedes E220 and this Ford. Obviously it might not work with all models, but it should do the majority of them. Throttle sensors, you can recalibrate throttle sensors. Oil, so when you're doing a service and you want to reset the oil degradation or oil service reminder, you can do that from here. You can steering angle sensors, recalibrate them. And the tyre pressure management system, you can teach in new tyre pressure sensors or recalibrate existing ones if you're swapping the wheels round, for example, swapping the fronts to the backs to the front. Rather than having to swap the sensors, you can just use this, click on the TPMS, relearn them in their new positions, as easy as it's just a few touches of a button. So just quickly to show, on the 800 BT, this obviously does more calibrations than the 600. So here you've got air, fuel, AdBlue, airbag system, coolant, EGR, gearbox, automatic gearbox, injectors, so you can program injectors and stuff. This is just some of the more in-depth functions that you get on the 800 versus the 600. So I'll just show you a bit of footage of the 600S in action. So again, as I say, we're in the 2016 Ford Galaxy. So first of all, you're going to want to plug in your OBD2 cable into the OBD2 port. Okay, so with the OBD2 port plugged in, you'll see that up the top of the screen here you've got the battery voltage. So this is telling you your live battery voltage. It's useful for if you're programming the vehicle. Some things rely, or it's important to have decent battery voltage, because you don't want it going too low during reprogramming, otherwise that can cause other issues. I will say about this, it says 15.4 volts. I don't think it's very accurate. I need to look and see if I can recalibrate it somehow, because I'm pretty sure that it's not 15.4 volts. But I will update on that. As you can see also, when the unit is plugged in, it actually charges from the OBD2 port. It does have a USB-C charging port on the right hand side of the unit, but I quite like the fact that it charges off the vehicle battery whilst you're doing the diagnostics, which is quite handy. So as I say, the touchscreen, you can either use the touchscreen or these big chunky buttons, which are more useful if you've got dirty hands. You can navigate around the various different options. So let's just see the diagnostics in action. So you can select your vehicle manually. Or you can choose from American, European, Asian, etc. But I generally just use the auto search. It will go through, scan your VIN number and match it to the make and model of your vehicle. It takes a few seconds to do this, but it's not particularly long. So it says the option, is it a Ford, Lincoln, Ford USA, I assume that is. Mine's a Euro Ford because I'm in England. So this is all in real time. It's not particularly slow, you know, even compared to some of the top makes. You know, it's fairly quick. So it'll load the vehicle data. So here we go. So we have 4 choices now: health reports, system scan, system selection, or vehicle information. So health report will do you a quick general health report. It will scan the main systems and let you know if there's any faults in the system. System scan, you can choose specifically what systems. It will go through and tell you what systems are available, and then you can choose specifically which system you want to enter into. So the 600S only supports the ABS system, the power control module, which is your engine control module, your restraint control module, and your transmission control module. There obviously are more modules, but this 600S doesn't support that. So the 800, for example, will read things like the infotainment center, the sat-nav, the climate control, various other onboard systems. This 600S concentrates mainly on the main functions of driving. So your engine control, your brakes, your restraints such as your airbags, seat belts, crash sensors, and your transmission or gearbox, whatever you want to call it. So it's found all them, but system selection, you can choose. So if you don't want to look at all the problems with your transmission control or your restraints, if you know you just want to straight away look at the engine, because say for example you've got engine management light on, you can select powertrain control module, and it'll just load your vehicle data. So you can read any fault codes. Hopefully this one hasn't got any fault codes. So you've got three options. You can do a key on engine off self-test, key on engine running self-test, or just receive the detected trouble codes. So I've got the engine running at the moment, so let's just key on engine running on demand self-test just to have a look. There's no DTC, so there, for example, if you had the engine management light up, it should give you a code. So let's look at all of them, see if there's anything. I don't think there's anything in here, but just showing you how the unit works. It's pretty quick. Obviously you can clear the fault memory, so if you've got a fault code in there or a load of fault codes in there, you can clear them, start afresh, and see which ones come back or which ones don't, and then read data stream down here. So that's where all your live data is. So for example, in here we've got accelerator pedal position sensor. So within the live data, you can see there's lots and lots of different information. So say for example you want to look at the air ambient, say for example you've got a problem with your ambient air temperature display, you can select the temperature sensor voltage and what it's actually reading in degrees C or degrees Fahrenheit. You can select them and it will bring up the live data. So it's showing you that the ambient air temperature voltage is 3.21 and the vehicle is showing 59 degrees Fahrenheit. Now if your display was showing something different, you could work out if it's the sensor at fault. So you could look up the specs for the sensor and work out at 60.8 degrees what voltage should it be showing the power control module, and then work back from there. So these are just an example. You could have any, you could have RPM, coolant temperature, oil pressure. So this is just an example of some live data. Once you've got this live data up, you can either combine them on a graph, you can record them, so you can click on record, go for a drive, and then come back and review all the data. You can have it produce a report for you, which will show you the live, like a report that you can print out or save as a PDF, and it will show you the printout of this current data. So it'll show you what it's showing here. So if you wanted to show a customer that what the issue was, you could then produce a report. So I'll just show you, produce a report. Gives you a QR code that you can scan to get it on elsewhere, like on your computer. So it tells you all the information up here, and it tells you inspection result, professional report. And so the live data that I had up, so it tells you DTC's 0, live data, ambient air temperature sensor voltage 3.2 volts, ambient air temperature display temperature in degrees C or degrees Fahrenheit is 60.8 degrees Fahrenheit. So it just produces like a professional report that you could show to someone. You can export it to a PDF if you want to email it to someone. And if I click combine, oh, I didn't click combine, I clicked record, so ignore that. That's recording the data. We won't save that. It will then save it as a file. But if I click combine and then choose both of them, and click OK. It will produce a graph for you, so you can monitor. You can see if the voltage is going up but the red temperature is not moving, for example. You know, the sensor's receiving is changing according to the temperature. The voltage is fluctuating, but the reading is not. So that tells you that the sensor's probably correct, but whatever it's feeding the information to may have an issue. So something I got asked quite a lot on my review on the 800 BT was about updates. So if you click on update, there's all the different vehicle manufacturers. Some I haven't even heard of, to be honest. There's that many. And TOPDON release lots and lots of updates, which is a good thing because it means it keeps up with the current systems and current vehicles. And basically, if you don't ever work on Audis, for example, you don't have to download the Audi update. If you don't ever work on BMWs, you don't have to download the BMW update, but you can download any of them, and this is for free. Once you've bought the Diagnostics machine, it's lifetime free, no subscription, no charges for updates. I was asked this quite a lot because I know the Autel systems, you have to pay either a lifetime subscription or a monthly subscription to get the updates. On these TOPDON products so far, none of them, you don't have to pay anything extra once you've got the device. So as you can see, there's literally loads. I haven't updated most of these. I've just updated them as I've used them on a vehicle to make sure I've got the latest software. But as you can see, it covers so many different makes: Peugeot, Porsche, Renault, Seat, Skoda, Subaru, Suzuki. You know, there's literally loads and loads of makes on there. So just to cover a bit more about the machine itself, so on the right hand side of the machine you've got USB-C, micro SD card slot and a reset button. So you can expand the storage if you want to download more, or if you want to keep more reports and various log data and that, you can just add a memory card. USB-C charger there, comes with a charge cable. The battery life on these does seem very good. I used them all day and still have, you know, like 20% battery left after being used all day of heavy use, so that's fairly good. It's in a nice tough case, non-slip. As I mentioned earlier, the buttons, if you've got dirty or greasy hands whilst you're working on the vehicle, it's nice and easy to grip hold of. As I say, the 600S is a wired version, so the OBD2 adapter is wired, it's not wireless, but in some respects that can be a good thing. So I like hooking it over the steering wheel like this and doing the diagnostics. With the 800 BT, you can't really hook it on the steering wheel. It's sort of, you have to rest it in your lap or prop it somewhere because it slides off. So guys, that's just a quick overview of the ArtiDiag 600S from TOPDON. If you have any questions, drop them down in the comments, and I'll see if I can answer them. But if I can't, there's quite a few people on this channel who are fairly good on these TOPDON items and can probably help you. So if I can't, I'm sure someone else will. Of course, TOPDON website provides much more information than I've given in this video about exactly what each model can and can't do, but hopefully I've just shown you some real-time running of the device, how it responds, what type of things it can do. Nice clean screen, clear screen, and much better than the earlier models. The touchscreen is much more responsive than the earlier models of some of the diagnostic scanners. You know, this one is sort of, I'd say, online in comparison of how responsive it is with like an iPhone. You know, it's quick to respond, you know, much easier than some of the early ones where you'd have to sort of really press it to get it to register. This seems fairly responsive. Anyway, hope you like the video, guys. If you could give us a thumbs up and maybe subscribe to the channel if you feel like it. It's free, doesn't cost anything, and hopefully I'll be bringing you some more videos on some of the latest TOPDON products. I'm not sponsored by TOPDON, but I do use a lot of their products, so hopefully I'll be able to bring you some more videos. Also, if you have a look at some of my other videos, I do all sorts of stuff with different vehicles, and might be interesting for some of you to have a look. Anyway, guys, thanks again for watching, and any questions, drop them down in the comment section. Thank you.